What is up guys, Speed here, and today we are going to be going over the 4 categories of supports. These are 4 categories that I kind of just came up with. They're not completely hypothetical, right? They have a lot of basis from ideas from the pro scene, just from average Dota, but I've kind of compiled them together just to give any new support players or someone who's interested in understanding the support role on a deeper level just a better understanding of what types of supports there are, what their roles are in Dota, and when you should pick them. Now before we hop into the main content of this video, I just want to let you guys know that you can check out guides just like this one made by top tier pros and have over thousands of different options over at gameleap.com. Now let's get into the main video. So the first category is lane dominators. Now lane dominators are my favorite supports to play because in my opinion they are the best way to reliably win solo MMR in the lower MMRs. Why? Because people simply don't know how to deal with pressure and they're often very greedy in their item builds. This is a common trend I've noticed through a lot of my coachings, and the way you punish this is lane dominators. Now I think a lot of people actually play these heroes improperly. When you're playing lane dominators, you should spend the majority of your time zoning, but when the lane is pushing up, then you go back to pull. Instances of these heroes are Enchantress, Batrider, Undying, Bane, and Nature's Prophet. Right? Enchantress is a hero that, with the ability to take over a creep and basically heal a full whenever she wants, is able to trade more than efficiently with any hero in Dota. Now, she isn't that popular currently, and it can feel a little bit hard to make her work in solo queue, as you do need a lot of levels. You need to scale, but you can't really farm that fast, right? You don't push out waves particularly well unless you have the correct creeps. So I would say if you pick Enchantress, try to pick it with something like a Drow. Those heroes synergize very well together. And also if you feel like the enemy team can't deal with summons, right? Like there's some team comps that simply have no wave clear, and having a creep to tank a tower will really allow you to open up the map and crush your laning stage. Batrider also, as a laning hero, is very underrated in the position 5 role, right? OG actually runs this quite a bit. They will pick Batrider very early, which opens up your draft very significantly. Why is Batrider in particular fantastic? Because if you bait him early in the draft, right, if you first pick a Batrider, no one has any clue what you're going to do with this hero. I recently played it mid. You can do anything you want as Batrider. And as a result, you will very often, right, you first pick this hero, you will very often see a Juggernaut, a PL, Faceless Void, all of these, Lifestealer, all of these notable counter picks to Batrider in the safe lane. They'll instantly get snap pick, right? People will instantly snap pick, and as a result, your offlaner gets to counter pick if they want. This is a very strong tool to have, as Batrider is easily one of the best flex 5s. Undying dominates strength heroes. It's as simple as that. Strength and weak melee heroes. Bane, in particular, I think lanes very well with certain safe laners, right? Bane, similar to Enchantress, can heal through his brain sap, and has some of the best base stats in Dota, right? And as a result, it is near impossible to trade with him unless you have units. So on like a tier list of lane dominators, I would say Bane gets beat out by heroes such as Enchantress and Nature's Prophet in certain aspects, but after the nerfs to a lot of summons over time, especially something like Nature's Prophet's Treants, Bane can do quite well against these heroes due to his stats. Also, the heroes that Bane lanes particularly well with, in my opinion, are Troll Warlord. I think he does very well with Morphling because he can provide a nice shield. You'll even lane with pretty well with Slark, even though I really don't like Slark. You can pick with Slark. And finally, Nature's Prophet. Now, why is a hero like Nature's Prophet in particular very popular in the pro scene? Well, not only is he a very good lane dominator because of his treants, but also you have the ability to TP around the map and get upgrade vision. But what is cool in the laning stage that you can do with these treants? You can zone with your main hero and pull with treants, or you can do it the other way around. The ability to basically do more than one thing at a time in the laning stage allows you to have a very high skill cap as a lane dominator, as you can both pull and zone, and this is super effective. Now moving on to the second category is lane sustainers. Now the purpose of lane sustainers is basically to make sure that your lane doesn't get crushed, but you will most likely not dominate. Now you have to take this with a grain of salt because a few of the lane sustainers do have actually some kill potential, but I'll definitely make sure I separate them out. So first off is Warlock and Abaddon. Warlock and Abba, their main purpose in the laning stage is to spam their heal and make sure the lane is even, right? Often they want to pull to try to get an XP advantage and just sit behind their carry. It's as simple as that. That is all you have to do in the laning stage. Now can these heroes harass? Yeah, sure, they can use their spells offensively. Any hero in Dota can typically do that, but they're most likely going to play it on the defensive end with heroes like Morphling, Phantom Assassin, actually anything, you can really make them work. There's some notable combos. In my opinion, Abba Morphling is very notable due to Morphling's low HP pool. He basically gets healed to full every 4.5 seconds. And Warlock Spectre is a very, very popular combo that just dominates team fights. Moving on to more of the aggressive lane sustainers is Dazzle and Oracle. Now, these heroes' heals aren't very notable as you can typically only get them at level 2. Oracle in particular, you might not even get till level 4, 5, 6. Okay, not 6. But basically, you don't get them till later on. But you do have the option to heal if needed, right? Dazzle is obviously going to get your heal. But the point is, these heroes have more of an offensive capability. And depending on how you want to play them, they can be lane sustainers. Even I consider putting Witch Doctor in this category, purely because you can play them defensively if needed. And the purpose of these heroes is to chill in the lane, right? You want to focus on pulling, right? Stacking the pull camp. Probably more so stacking the pull camp than pulling, because you're not going to be looking to fight, you're just looking to chill and get XP and get your carry farm. Now moving on away from the laning stage, these types of supports are meant not necessarily to dominate the lane, but guarantee that the later stages of the game, you either have a lot of kill potential or some decent team fight. So let's start off with heroes that give solid kill potential, but aren't necessarily great team fighters. So first off, we have Shadow Demon. Now Shadow Demon has Shadow Poison for the laning stage, which can make him seem like a lane dominator, but some heroes actually completely ignore Shadow Poison or are able to purge it, and not only that, it can be very hard to land and keep going as it has a somewhat expensive mana cost. So as a result, Shadow Demon is much better to be looked at as not a lane dominator, but rather as a mid-game fighting hero that is particularly good with levels. A lot of these heroes that I'll be mentioning here need their levels, typically level 6, to have a lot of impact, and that is what's notable. The lane dominators and lane sustainers typically could care less about 6. Now, heroes like Bane and Nature's Prophet, sure they want their 6, but these mid-game fighters really, really want it. So in particular, right, Shadow Demon with his ult actually gives him kill potential, while previous to that, you have to use your spells as setup and hope you have some sort of a follow-up. Other than that, you kind of just have to spam your Shadow Poison. You can use it to stack pull camps in lane, which is very effective, but other than that, you're not going to win your lane. You're looking to get out alive, and as a result, you should pick it with lane dominators or like the in-between heroes such as Troll, Juggernaut. Anyone who can self-sustain the lane is a lot better with Shadow Demon. Then there's AA, right? You need your 6 on AA, period. You can put AA in kill lane tri-lanes, but other than that, he's quite bad in the lane. I've seen some people say that he's good in the lane. It's not true. It's just not a good laner. You have to wait way too long for it to have impact. Sure, the hero's good if you're just standing still and constantly just throwing out your E and everyone's ignoring you, but the problem is you die very easily. Similar to Shadow Demon, AA just dies very easily, and that's actually kind of a common theme throughout all these heroes. Lion, Rubik, Witch Doctor as well, where if you get caught out, you're probably dead, where heroes such as Dazzle, Abaddon, Oracle, Warlock, they all can use their heals or spells defensively to save themselves, and the lane dominators typically could care less about getting caught out. Next up is Lion for the fighting. So Lion as a 5 is good with particular heroes that can apply pressure, and he's good if you can threaten tri-lanes, right? So you kind of have to look at Lion as, can I guarantee that I get my 6 early? And often it's very nice to pick heroes like Shadow Demon, AA, and Lion with the laners that don't mind you sapping XP. So if you pick these heroes with something like a Drow, for instance, you have to be very, very careful, right? Because a hero like Drow really needs her 6. So if you pick one of these heroes, one of these 5 heroes that I'm mentioning, you're going to really ruin your carry's level 6 timing. And this is very, very dangerous. Like any hero such as Jug, Drow, what else? Basically any hero that needs to get levels doesn't want to lane with these heroes typically. Now, if you think they're going to sack their offlane, it's fine. You'll get away with it. But if it's an aggro lane, then you typically have to shift over, and lane dominators are able to separate themselves and guarantee that they're not taking way too much XP, but these mid-game, late-game fighting heroes don't really do that. The only thing they can do to do that is pull, and often they'll get intercepted and died. So you want to pick them when the lanes are more static, where the lane dominators, you really want to pick them if you think the enemy team can apply pressure or your safe laner needs backup. Moving on, we have Rubik. Rubik is okay if you see that they have some nukes that you can steal from the mid-game so that you can ruin the mid-game timings. In addition, it counters specific team fighters, but typically it's kind of a bait pick against heroes like an Enigma. Sure, you can do this sick play, wow, 5-man Black Hole Seal, but often it's more reliable to pick it against heroes such as Lina or Shadow Shaman, where you can steal things like Ether Shock or Dragon Slave or Razor Q, right? Any of these spells are very good on Rubik because with your spell amp and your level 6 timing, having 2 nukes, you're going to do a ton of damage. But A lot of people don't really understand how to play Rubik. You really want to play him around CS, and that's why he's not a lane dominator. You want to use Phase Bolt to secure CS, and lane dominators don't care about getting denies as much, rather than getting their carry space to go for denies. Rubik's a little bit different where you want to set yourself up and your carry to have a base damage advantage so that you can actually get denies. Next up is Witch Doctor, which is kind of weird because he can be a lane dominator in certain matchups. Depends on the matchup, right? Witch Doctor is very heavily matchup based, where heroes like Nature's Prophet, Bane, Undying, Battle Rider, Enchanters, they do have their counter matchups. Yeah, it's true, but Witch Doctor in particular has this niche where he counters very specific strength heroes that can't disengage, and you typically need a +1 in lane. A hero like Jug is really good with Witch Doctor, and that can make him a lane dominator, but typically what Witch Doctor is great for is the ability to kill people in the mid game, right? When you hit your level 6 or in the later laning stage, right? All these heroes are like that, right? AA with his blast, Lion with his finger, Rubik with his 2 nukes, Shadow Demon with his ultimate, Witch Doctor with his ult. That is the common theme, where heroes like Ench, Bat Rider, Undying, Bane, Nature's Prophet, their 6s give them damage. Maybe Nature's Prophet is kind of an exception, but mostly it's either control or not really a nuke or a solo kill spell. So these mid-game fighters sacrifice a little bit of lane dominance for more mid-game timings where they can blow people up. And then finally, the last category for supports that you should know is teamfight supports. And these heroes aren't known for blowing up, but they will secure you AoE engagements. Now, the one separation I want to make between mid and late game fighting heroes and teamfight heroes is when I think you should pick them. So when you have a lot of teamfight, I think it's very, very good to pick these heroes such as Shadow Demon, AA, Lion, Rubik, Witch Doctor, because they fill in the gap, right? They might not necessarily provide a ton of control. Lion does maybe, but the others are in the middle. But what they do allow you to do is pick people off in the downtime of your ultimates, and this is a very strong option to have, right? If you're always on cooldown, like your kill thread is always on cooldown, it's very hard to play, right? It's just hard to play Dota, or at least make space. It might not matter if no one's making any plays and it's just a team fight every 10 minutes, but typically it's really nice to have a mix and match in Dota, right? This applies for everything, right? It's safe lane, off lane, you want one hero farming, one making space. Now, does this always have to be the case? No, Dota's a crazy game. But mid and late game teamfight supports and mid and late game fighting supports are a little bit different in the sense that I don't think I wouldn't want to have them together, right? For instance, there's Grimstroke and Silencer in this list. I wouldn't really want to have a Grimstroke 4 and a Silencer 5. Now, most of these heroes I'm listing are meant just for 5 specifically, but you can play Grimstroke as a 5. But hopefully that kind of makes sense, where these heroes fill a different role in terms of what they do in fights. So the teamfight supports are Caudle, Wyvern, Disruptor, Grimstroke, Silencer, and CM. And something notable about all these heroes is most of them are very good at chipping in lane, but they don't provide instant kill threat in the sense that Caudle, Wyvern, Disruptor, Silencer, CM, they kind of have to chip you down to kill you in the lane, where heroes such as Witch Doctor, Lion, and Shadow Demon typically set up for these like one and dones. Now I'm not saying that they don't chip, but teamfight heroes are mostly meant to chip in lane and then go for pulls, right? Because they really, really want their level 6 timings. This is very strong for a lot of these heroes. Disruptor, Wyvern, and Caudle, it allows them to make very big plays all around the map. And as a result, it's very strong to pick these heroes. Once again, if you know your lane's going to be okay, then you go ahead, you pick a teamfight hero if your team is lacking AoE damage. I think it is very nice to have a balance. So let's say your team picks heroes such as Pugna in the offlane, a TA middle, and a safe lane carry, Terrorblade. They're lacking a lot of AoE damage, right? And as a result, you can make up for this lacking by picking someone like a Caudle, a Wyvern, Disruptor, Grimstroke, Silencer, or CM. Right, I'm not going to go into depth about any of these heroes because the point is strictly pick them if you think your lane is okay and your team lacks the AoE ability to teamfight and actually close out the game. So hopefully this kind of makes sense. Just to reiterate the 4 categories, you have lane dominators, lane sustainers, mid-late game fighting heroes, and then mid-late game team fighting heroes, right? And all of these have their own place in Dota, and hopefully this video kind of gives you a better understanding when to actually pick these heroes, a few examples here and there of what heroes to pick them with. And in general, if you have any questions or are confused about anything at all, leave it down in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer your questions down there. And hopefully you enjoyed. This is something a little bit different I want to do, quite a bit more educational, but something that people should really understand from the carrier role, the support role, basically every role. It's important to really have a full breadth of each role in knowledge in Dota. Guys, before I leave you, I just want to remind you that over at gameleap.com, you can check out guides just like this one, made by top tier pros. They will help you gain MMR faster, will help you learn the game much more in depth, and overall, just increase the experience of your Dota gameplay as you will crush your opponents simply by knowing more than them. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please do like and subscribe to help the channel grow, and of course, I'll see you in the next video.